Well, all I can say is you guys sure do like to reproduce, don't you? Okay. A little bit about me. I am Lucifer. I have been Lucifer since I was a child. Um, some might call me the greatest inventor of all time, or greatest inventor ever. I am the inventor of the steam engine, as some of you may know. I also invented the wing. Um, I've I even invented the toaster. You could say I invented the light bulb because I suggested that a filament inside a vacuum might be able to produce light. Because wire, if you get it hot, it'll glow, right? So I thought maybe if you take a wire and put it in a vacuum, that would get hot. And apparently there was needed some gas to be around it to. There's a process or some sort of electronic thing, um, whatever that that was called. I mean, but basically that principle is what created the light bulb. And um, like I said, I'm an inventor of things. I invented the first vacuum. I thought about vacuum. Well, I discovered air, you might say, um, as a small child once upon a time within my lifetime, basically, or some sort of form of basically discovery of air and different things like the idea that heat can create. I inventor of dirigibles or the hot air balloon, basically. Um, like my first idea for flight was basically a hot air balloon, which was tested and done. Um, there's all kinds of different. I was a very fast inventor, a very quick inventor. I invented democracy, the word America, and Russia, and a lot of different things. I am an inventor. And I managed a small group of people, scientists, you would know them as the Curies, and other groups. And I kind of pioneered the whole female rights movement and a lot of different other things. You would say I invented the first forms of government or community, communism, democracy, the voting system. There were some little problems, of course. Um, I also had a huge list of things for humanity or people to do, which they ticked off rather quickly, and things are very interesting. But you would probably consider me the person responsible for raising up humanity in the inventing of engines. I invented the first carburetor, or the idea of how carburetors would work when I was a child. I did a lot of things, invented a lot of things, and it's kind of weird exactly how it really works. I was always a very smart person, um, and like I say, I worked with many groups to try and safely do all kinds of things as far as like projectors and basically science and technology, always pushing that envelope a little bit further, and working with different groups, like the first forms of dynamite. Um, I've done all kinds of things as well, like giving away steam engines to other countries like China and basically wherever humanity resided. There is all kinds of other things like natural fisheries and lots of different projects. Before there was film, my people did go out to the earth to do things and help people. Um, and from these different groups of people, they did reproduce, and other things became like diseases and stuff like that. And I helped them get past those things with the first ideas of hospitals and other things. And later on, I tasked different groups with doing different things throughout the years. And the world population continued to grow and rise and grow and rise based on a lot of my ideas. My ideas of the steam engine, my ideas of the steam shovel, my ideas of the engine, and also of the wing and flight, even the dirigible. My ideas, my theories of science and experiments, or doing experiments to figure out other things in life, created the very basis of what allowed so many people to survive and live with on this planet, basically. Um, that's why they consider Lucifer and the Tree of Knowledge to be hand in hand, because I was a great inventor of things, everything. I invented a lot of things. The tricone drill, the wing itself, how the wing works, how the air moves over. I worked with America to break the sound barrier. I basically designed and invented the SR-71 Blackbird. Um, the things like Cosmos and all that. That was actually my people actually working, using science and slide rules and other things to basically develop something for me that would go to space. Um, Based on a lot of because of all the things that I had invented had allowed them to live such long, great lives. Um, Later on, Howard Hughes and me, with the gold and stuff like that, created computers. Um, in general, but that's why Lucifer and the Tree of Knowledge are considered hand in hand, because I invented things. Anyone who asked me as a child, or any kind of group that was working under me, we developed the first dams. Like for instance, just for launching Cosmos, um, some dams had to be invented, had to be created in order to flood a pool of water just to launch the rockets. I guess you could launch them on the ground, but it didn't work out quite as well. There were some dry launches, though, I believe. Just as a test, they because I did ask, I was like, well, what happens if you just launch it just from the ground? Would that work as well? And it worked, but I think there was some possibility of damaging the rocket or something. I'm not exactly sure what it was. It was just something I asked. By then, everything was becoming so relative, and science is, I was there. I'm not the creator of dynamite. That was people working, mixing different things. I think I might have suggested sulfur or something like that. I don't really know. Like, it was too far in my past. But all kinds of things were developed. I was also the inventor of laws, different rules, and also safe, pleasant jails that were just removing someone's freedom, not so much as a punishment or hurting. I was also very key with the inventing of the first cameras, or X-ray machines, which were the first cameras which were then later on used to develop film based upon the X-ray or radiation or background radiation, which was later on used to film things. I was very key in all of this. Working with groups, it's kind of like, I don't exactly know how you can explain it, but it's based on the fact that I invented steam and engines and flight, and how quickly life turned around for so many, and how many people were able to live very productive lives based upon my ideas and theories. I later on changed my name to just Brian, and then Brian Nathaniel Alexander Briley, which was my name for a while, and now it is, again, Lucifer, Alexander Lucifer Luera. You might know me as the Great Alexander, but realistically, my first name was Lucifer, basically. I don't really remember my life before Lucifer. I just remember being a child Lucifer and inventing a lot of things. And these things and these theories became the basis of science, and basically what you would consider the world around you. Throughout the years, I also had different phases, like bunker building and all kinds of other things. Like I say, you guys sure do like to reproduce. Later on, instead of doing wars and mass killing or mass starvation, I suggested birth control and other means of safely and pleasantly doing population control through preventative rather than forced things. There sure are a lot of people now, because of, I guess, my ideas and my theories and the different sciences and my different random projects that I had people doing that basically allowed them to basically master the earth, pretty much. And this mastery of the earth allowed me to name America as well as Russia, and allowed for a lot of other groups to exist upon this planet. Um, uh, Humble beginnings, I was just a person, a child. Um, and and my life was rather intense and having a lot of issues with being the first group that invented and discovered a lot of things and the different effects that come along with it. Um, but that's why in the Bible they consider it Lucifer and the Tree of Knowledge because, well, I was an inventor. I had a lot of theories. I'm one person and I've lived one life. And in this life I've invented a lot of things. It only took me about 3 years to invent stuff that changed the world as most people know it. Like I stated, and if you researched me, I did not invent the steel cable. That was actually invented because of metallurgy and other things. But I did invent the steam shovel and steam train and engine, the V8 engine, single cam, single crankshaft engine. The first one of its, I envisioned it and came up with it myself, as well as basically the inline engines as well. But that was more because it was easier to think about an inline engine and how the timing would work with the pistons themselves and the rings. That was another invention of mine. I've invented a lot of things very quickly over the years, and I'm an inventor. So, including the wing itself. And then the perfecting of those things allowed for everyone to live. One of my favorite inventions, of course, was the steam engine and the steam and shovel. I basically sold it to humanity or to people as basically being one of the easiest things that, there's always water, there's always heat. Nowadays we have engines and fossil fuels and all kinds of other ways of moving dirt more efficiently. But anyway, as a child, I suggested blacksmith shops and all that, and now science and technology is so vast and so readily available that there are so many people. And in a place and time like Germany and Hitler, when some people were suggesting that we lower the population, I was actually pioneering basically the idea that we needed more people or that more people were okay. To an extent. Realistically, probably 3 children is probably the best rate. But as far as male versus female, I don't really have a preference. I don't like monstrous or horrible things, even on my scale. Like I say, I invented the dollar bill and also paper currency as well, and also a basis for the financial system that everyone uses, which I thought was a better, more efficient way of doing things. So, and this did spread to China, Russia. Communism was my first value of my first system, basically, and then later on I invented the voting system and democracy. It makes sense when you consider how long and how quickly humanity will survive. Basically, that's how it kind of starts to make sense, and that I am this person. Was always this person. It used to be a little bit differently with communication with my people. Nowadays, it's a little easier, I guess, for them to know me or know about me, or at least somebody knows of me easier. But, even as a child, some would consider me a great man. It's kind of funny, all the things I've touched in my life. I mean, there's no other Lucifer. It's not that I know of. I mean, I was Lucifer, and then I changed my name to Brian. Just Brian, and then it was Brian Nathaniel Alexander Briley. And now it's Alexander Lucifer Luera. Same person, me. I've always been this person. An inventor. It's funny how they say the light bulb and everything else. It's like, it wasn't Edison, it was me, of course. I had the first vacuum, and having 4 horses pull a vacuum cylinder apart. or vacuum, take a circle and then cut it in half and then do the rings and everything, and also have 4 horses pull on it. That was me, and my theories. uh, like I said, I could pass a polygraph if you wanted, or a brain scan. I know what I did. I know what I invented. Um, anyway, but yeah,